Welcome into the locker room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm your host, Namath Pitts. We have made it to the midweek point of the season, and we are talking more youth sports today. That's what we're talking on the locker room, and we're talking with, do you remember the Ohatchee Indians senior football team? You remember we showed you some highlights of them last week? We're going to show you those highlights once again, and we're going to talk with the head coach of the Ohatchee Indian senior football team, Coach Michael Brunner. We're going to talk with him today about his senior Indians team who is preparing for the biggest game of the season up to this point. And so we want to talk with Coach Brunner and talk a little about Parton and some of these great players that he has. And then you also remember Alexandria. We showed you the Valley Cubs this week. Here's the senior Valley Cubs. They are led by Coach Stacy Krill, and we are going to talk with him today as well. So we've got two big interviews today between Stacy Krill of the Alexandria Valley Cubs and Coach Michael Brunner of the Ohatchee Indians, because this weekend, Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics, the biggest game this week is between the Alexandria Valley Cubs and the Ohatchee Indians. And why is that, you might ask? Well, because both of them are undefeated. The Valley Cubs sit at the top of the big division, and the Ohatchee Indians sit at the top of the small division. And so that is a big game this week. So we're going to talk with Stacy and Michael about their teams, about their communities, and about this big matchup. We also showed you some highlights of the Jacksonville Golden Eagles, and we're going to replay those for you guys again today, and we're going to go ahead and look ahead towards this weekend's games. So if we can go ahead and get them Golden Eagles highlights right there. Hey, also shout out to everybody that gives us highlights. Katie Edwards took these highlights for us, but we have people that give us highlights all across. For instance, the Alexandria highlights that you saw just a minute ago, those were shared to us from a coach for Alexandria, Aragon Bruner, and so shout out to him. We also have some highlights that you're going to see in just a minute that were shared to us for Anniston. We're going to show you the Bulldogs, but there's been great support. Remember, if you want to share highlights with us, guys, you can send us a message on Facebook at East Alabama Now, or you can email us at eansports23@gmail.com. Make sure to like the East Alabama Now page. Make sure to like the EAN News page. There's a newscast every night at 6:30 p.m. with local news from Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards, local weather by John Holder, and then I bring you local sports. So make sure to share East Alabama Now and EAN News with your friends. If you have highlights, send them to us. We would love to talk about your kids and talk about the local coaches in the community. And so we're going to look ahead, though. Again, a lot more highlights. We haven't shown you highlights yet of the Anniston Bulldogs, so let's do that. We've got highlights of the Anniston 12U team who had a big 55-0 win over Mumford last week. And so let's go ahead, and there's the Bulldogs and Mumford lines right there. We're going to go ahead and look at the week ahead. Anniston's going to go on the road to Bill Bryan Stadium this Saturday to play the Weaver Bearcats. We talked about the Alexandria Valley Cubs, the biggest game of the week. Two undefeated teams. The Alexandria Valley Cubs will go to the Creek Bank to face the Ohatchee Indians. The Lincoln Golden Bears will go on the road to Jacksonville to face the Golden Eagles. Oxford B goes on the road to the Mumford Lions that you see right here in the highlights. There's Swain getting the ball right there for the Mumford Lions. The Walter Webber Panthers will go to Lamar Field to face Oxford A. The White Plains Wildcats will go to Sacs to face the Wildcats. It's homecoming for the Sacs Wildcats, so it's going to be homecoming day out at Sacs, where the Wildcats will go against the Wildcats. And then Piedmont goes to Pleasant Valley. The Bulldogs and the Raiders facing off this Saturday in Pleasant Valley. That's this week's matchups for Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics. But how about the Anniston Bulldogs? The 12U teams having a great season up to this point. Great highlights. And before we go any further, I want to make sure that we give credit where credit is due on those highlights. Marquez Colbert shared those highlights with us. And so we want to give a shout out to Marquez Colbert for sharing those highlights with us. But hey, as always, don't forget that you can watch The Locker Room each day presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond right here on East Alabama Now at 5 p.m. every afternoon, Monday through Friday. And then don't forget tonight at 6:30 p.m., EAN News. You'll find me featuring Steve Smith, Deja Vu, a return to the Field of Champions for a second week in a row. How about Jaden J. Money Lewis? Speaking of the Anniston Bulldogs, he was selected to play in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game. And then we're going to look at the scores from last night in volleyball and continue to look ahead. But hey, when we come back, we're going to talk with the Alexandria Valley Cubs senior football team head coach, Stacy Creel, and talk about this big matchup. We keep moving ahead. You're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you The Locker Room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, or luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston and you can pick out what you want, what you like, what you need, and they can do it all right there at Ted's. Also, they've got a partnership with Welborn Cabinets, and they offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, or tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you The Locker Room. Welcome back into The Locker Room. I'm your host, Namath Pitts, and we told you before the break, we are going to talk with the head coach of the Alexandria Youth Football Seniors team, Stacy Creel. He joins us right now inside The Locker Room. Coach, thank you so much for taking time this afternoon to join us.
Thank you for it. Pretty awesome. Y'all covering our leagues and our sports.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coach, I saw some stats of your team this past Saturday, and you had a guy, if I'm not mistaken, had 3 rushes for over 140 yards. Then you had one player that had Weston Peanut Haynes, I believe is his name, had 2 interceptions, 3 for 4 on extra point kicks. You got guys all across the field that are making plays. Talk a little bit about your team.
Yeah, we got a great team. A lot of them's been together since I was 5 and 6 years old. I've got some that's Greg Creel, my son, Judd Parrish. I've got a nephew, Judd Parrish. He's on the team. Kellen Faulkner. I've got a lot of boys that's been with me since I was 5 and 6, and then I've added like Sawyer Beagle, Ashton Bruner. I've added some more key pieces. Bentley Press has been with me since the start. We've got a real special group. A lot of guys that put a lot of hard work in and try to get the job done.
Absolutely. And guys, I want to share some of these stats with you guys from his team this past weekend, because not only was it a dominant performance that they had this past Saturday, but listen to some of these stats. I've got some of these stats in here. I got to find them in just a second, but I'm going to come back to those. But Coach, let's talk a little bit about the support you get from from Alexandria, because youth sports in Alexandria is one of the top youth programs in the state of Alabama, period. So just talk about the support that Alexandria receives and the support that your teams received this season.
Well, I mean, it's a great place. I mean, it's a really great community, a great backing. Anything you need, you ask for it, you don't get it, in support of the community. Plus, support of the high school coaches. Todd Ginn's been great with us this year, working with us at practice and doing some things on the side with us. That's been really great for us and the kids and keeping them excited. It's just a great community, man, just like baseball. I mean, baseball, they backed us a lot going to World Series and stuff like that. So anything we need from the athletics of youth, they were there, and they'll help us do whatever.
Absolutely. Coach, we are going to talk with Michael Brunner in a little bit and talk a little bit about the rivalry between you guys. Alexandria and Ohatchee isn't necessarily a high school rivalry, but it is a youth sports rivalry. Obviously, two schools that are two communities right next to each other. Do you know any of the coaches on the opposite sideline?
Oh, yeah, I know Michael well. We've coached against each other for several years now. Going into Saturday, both of us undefeated. It'll be a physical ball game up front for sure. We always know between me and Michael that if we will line up, it's going to be one between the tackles most of the time. He'll have his guys ready. They'll be physical, and we know that. So, even though we got a pretty good team, we know we got to be ready, and we're going to get hit in the mouth Saturday for sure by Ohatchee.
Well, Coach, you talk about the physicality of your team, and again, I got these stats here, and you got a guy that essentially had 3 rushes for 140 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. Then you got Bentley Presley, who had 8 rushes for 38 yards. Sawyer Beagle, who had 4 rushes for 30 yards and a touchdown. And then Weston Peanut Haynes, who had 2 interceptions and was 3 for 4 on extra point kicks. I'm seeing Weston Peanut Haynes. Peanut isn't his actual middle name, is it?
No, but everybody knows him as Peanut. I mean, you go anywhere in the ball-playing world in Alexandria, and they know who Peanut is. They don't know him by Weston.
All right. Well, with that be, I guess that leads me into my next question. Are you a coach that gives nicknames to your players?
Sometimes not. It's just according. I don't know. We've nicknamed a few kids, but Peanut's been his name since before we started playing ball. I've known him all his life, so he's always been Peanut to everybody.
All right, Coach. What's another cool nickname you can think of a player that's PG-13?
Well, we got one we call Snickerdoodle, but I don't know why.
Snickerdoodle? What the heck?
I don't know. He had that name group, and that's what we've continued to call him. And he's a good kid, good, and he's one of our main players. He's really.
All right, Coach, let's talk about Northeast Alabama youth athletics as a whole. This is a really good league. I mean, the guys that put this league together, it features essentially every team in this area outside of Donahoe and Faith Christian, and it's a little hard for them being so small. But just talk about the league, from your thoughts and perspective, and then talk about what it's like to be able to wake up on Saturday and not have to drive so far to play a local team.
It's great to be in Calhoun County, and we got a couple of schools just right out of Calhoun County. It's close. A lot of good competition. Anniston and Jacksonville, Oxford. And then you got Montford. It's their first year back in the program. You always got Lincoln that don't have a lot of talent on the field. It's great to be close to home. It's great to have good competition and trying to get the boys ready for the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, you talked a little bit about Ohatchee. You kind of talked a little bit about their physicality. But what is the biggest challenge that you think Coach Brunner's team is going to bring to your team Saturday?
Michael always comes to the table with some kind of defensive scheme that's going to interrupt everything up front until you get figured out how to block it. I remember one year he gave us fits all the way to halftime. And then we got in at halftime, we talked to our guys and talked to our linemen that had been there all the time. And they told us, well, hey, this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing. And we figured out how to block it, and we came back out second half and done a lot better up front. Up front blocking schemes always is a chore with Michael because he mixes things up. Yeah,
absolutely. Coach, let's kind of shift into just Alexandria as a whole. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a struggle for the high school team this season. But there's something about playing in Death Valley, and I don't think it matters if it's on a Friday night. You could say the same about a Saturday morning. It's a rich, traditional program in the state of Alabama, and it's one of the best places to play. What's it like to just be a part of that community, that program, and to get to play, at a field as historic as Death Valley?
It's really great to be there on a Friday night, on a Saturday morning. It's really great to know that you've got the support of your high school coaches and for them to back you. And it's just a really, really good community. And I can't explain to anybody in words how good it is to be part of that family. It's a big family. Everybody seems to get along. And I mean, it's just great to be there and great to be a part of it. And in the past traditions, the high school's down this year. They've struggled winning some games. We've had some close games that could have went either way. But, every program has down years, and we'll bounce back. We got dudes coming. As long as they stay healthy and stay in the game, I think we'll be good. Playing a lot of youth this year in high school, I think it'll get better next year. And then 2 years from now, I think you're really seeing a big step up.
Yeah. Coach, last question. Talk a little bit about the guys that help you coach on Saturday mornings. And then also, are you the type of guy that you're talking to the coaches from the junior team or the sophomore team? Or do you guys kind of work together, or you just kind of do your own thing? Do you try to run the same scheme as what the high school is running, or do you just kind of do your own thing? So I know that's kind of a 2-3-parter right there, but just talk about your coaches. And then are you the type of coach to run the same scheme as the high school, or you like to do your own thing?
No, I mean, I went to Todd back last year, him and Will, and I told them I'd like to run some of their plays so our players are hearing the same language they don't hear when they get to high school. Todd brought me, several different plays. We've put them in this year, and we've added to that. It goes back to like we was talking about. It's nice to have support of your high school coaches. And yes, we do run a lot of the plays. We run a lot of the plays that they run in junior high. Just trying to get them familiar with it, because a lot of our starters will be going to 7th grade next year and be in junior high ball. As far as our coaches in the rec league, we do communicate with each other, and I'm not saying we all run the same thing, because you got different kids and you have to do different stuff. But yes, we're connected from sophomores to seniors. A while ago you asked me about my players, and I don't want to leave nobody out by calling names, but Ashton Bruner is special. He's a special kid, special athlete, big kid, big strong kid, fast, and just don't give you all he's got. Bentley Presley has been with me since we started coaching, and don't let that 38 yards fool you, because that kid's great. He runs hard. He's going to give you everything he's got. He plays safety for us, makes a lot of tackles. Peanut, great athlete. I think this is maybe his 3rd year playing. I think this is his 3rd year playing, maybe his 4th. Great kid. And all of our linemen up front, we got one 5th grade kid playing. He's playing center for him. His name's Ethan Parker. We've got the rest of our line is all 6th graders, started from Kellen Faulkner, Greg Creel. Judd Parrish is playing guard. The other guard is Joel Parker, Mason Guest. And then my other end is Easton Gardner. And my backs, of course, is Sawyer Beagle playing quarterback. Weston Haynes playing a wing back, I guess what you would call him in some of our plays. And then Ashton Bruner at fullback and Bentley Presley at tailback. I wanted to mention all of them because I didn't want to leave none of my starters out. It's hard for me to mention all my players because I got about 40. But I've got a lot of young kids coming on and a lot of more talent coming. I've got one 5th grader. His name's Aiden Fomby. He's going to be a baller. I mean, that's all you can say. He's a small kid, but he's not scared of anything.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thank you so much again for taking time with us this afternoon, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Coach Stacy Creel of the Alexandria Seniors Valley Cubs team, who has a big game against Ohatchee. Speaking of the Indians, when we come back, we are going to talk with the head coach of the Ohatchee Indians senior football team. So we'll be right back with Michael Brunner. You're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
Welcome to Room by Room Home Furnishings, a locally owned and operated furniture store located in Oxford, Alabama. We've been serving Northeast Alabama and the surrounding area since 2007. We offer stylish and affordable new arrivals and all the top trends to help you get a cozy and homey atmosphere with hand-picked home furnishings and decor to fit anybody's style and budget with knowledge, personality, and good vibes. Let Room by Room in Oxford, Alabama help you score amazing deals and turn your house into a home.
Wait! This isn't a game. It's your basement. It's filling with water. And even worse, it's 2 a.m. Who are you gonna call? Time's up. We'll come out 24/7, 365, any day, any time to put out any fires. Well, not actual fire. There's a better number for that. But when it comes to plumbing, call One Tom Plumbing.
In the locker room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. We've been talking Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics this morning, and the interviews continue with another coach of an undefeated squad. That is the Ohatchee Indians senior team led by head coach Michael Brunner. Michael, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, let's talk about your team. You guys are undefeated so far this season. You've had some big wins. Obviously, you got a big game coming up this Saturday. But just talk about your team so far up to this point in the season.
Well, this team I have, we're really young, but we're experienced. So there's a lot of these kids. This is my 10th year coaching. That's been with me for 10 years. I know at least 3 or 4 of them has never played for another coach but me. So we have been doing the same things since they were 4 years old. So by now, they know everything we do. They know everything we're going to do. This team has been great this year. They've done everything I've asked of them.
Coach, I've always wondered when it comes to a youth program, are you the type of coach that follows the system that the high school runs, or are you the type of coach that just kind of does your own thing?
So our system is similar to the high school, but it is not the high school. But what I try to do is incorporate some things like the cadence, little things like that to try to prepare these 6th graders to move up to the 7th grade next year.
Yeah. So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your 6th graders. And you talked about how you are a little young, but talk about some of your players. Just talk about their performances this season. Just brag on your kids for a couple minutes.
All right, so I've got 8 6th graders, and that's who I'd like to brag on a little bit. So I have Jace Henderson, Brody Brunner, Braxton Williams, Dakota Duke, Colby Parton, Cooper Simpson, Tyron Dover, and Maddox Tuliasega. These 6th graders are the backbone of this team. They've never let me down, and not the 5th graders are the same way. Don't get me wrong. I can call on any number, and they make it happen. So I actually have kids that could start at running back on any team out here, but play guard for me. They'll do anything that they need to do to win a championship.
So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your quarterback, because I noticed him when I came out to watch you guys a couple weeks ago. Who's your quarterback?
That is Colby Parton. We run him in the Wildcat a lot, throw with him. We also swap him out with Brody Brunner some. We kind of run a 2 system, but we run him more. He is a great athlete, and just like I said, will do anything that's asked of him. When I call a timeout and tell him, hey, this is you get me a first down. That's what he does.
And he's a bit of a bigger kid than most kids in that division, isn't he? I mean, he's a pretty stocky kid, for his age.
Yes, sir. He usually makes weight about a pound under every year.
So let's talk about the Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics as a whole. As a guy that coaches a team, just talk about, Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics, kind of, of course, what it is, but then also just the teams that it features from all over our county. Essentially every team in our county but Donahoe and Faith Christian, of course, are a part of it. And so week in, week out, you're playing local competition. So just talk about this league and talk about the teams that are a part of this league.
The league is great. We've changed leagues a few times in the last 3 or 4 years, and I really like this league because they've went to this small school, big school division. It kind of gives smaller schools like Ohatchee a better chance of succeeding. We don't have to play a big Southside or a big Jacksonville to win a championship. We actually have our own championship. So this league has been great. All the teams in it has been super respectful. The coaches, the players, it's been awesome so far.
Coach, let's talk about the Alexandria game this weekend. A battle of undefeated teams. They sit at the top of the top division, the big division, I should say. You guys are at the top of the small division. This is obviously a big game. There's a little bit of a rivalry between Alexandria and Ohatchee when it comes to youth sports, being right next to each other. So my first question is, do you know any of the coaches personally that you're going to be seeing on the other side of the sidelines?
So the defensive coordinator is actually my brother.
Uh-oh.
Their big running back, Ashton, that is my nephew.
Okay.
Stacy Creel, the head coach, we pretty much started at the same time. We've been across the field from each other in every one of these games. So this would be, I think this would be his last year. I have one kid left. I'll coach next year for him. But it's been a great rivalry. It's physical every year, but yet the kids show great sportsmanship to each other because they all know each other by name. They've played each other for so long now.
Mm-hmm. Coach, what's the biggest threat that you see Alexandria bringing to your team this weekend that you guys have to be concerned about?
Physicality. I've preached to the kids all week. If we don't match their physicality, then we're going to get beat. So physicality is going to be a big thing in this game. We have to be physical.
Coach, talk about the support from not just your senior team necessarily, but you got a juniors team, which is led by a good friend of mine, Dustin Screws, who's also undefeated. But just the support as a whole when it comes to Ohatchee youth football. Talk about the support you've received this season.
I've got all the support I need from parents, our board members, our officers, other coaches. I mean, Dustin and I will get with each other. We'll scrimmage each other. They're a smaller, third and fourth grade team, but we'll still scrimmage because we don't have but 20 kids and 2 of them are hurt. Sometimes that's the only way we can get a whole look. So we get on the phone a lot and talk about things, and we get a whole lot of support from each other.
Absolutely. Coach Michael Brunner of the Ohatchee Indians. Coach, one more question. I got one last question for you.
Sure. This
is a fun question. Do you got any nicknames for any of your players?
Any nicknames for any of my players? Not that I can think of. We had some in the past, and those are kids that never played again. These kids I have now, I really don't really have any nicknames for any of them if I'm being honest.
What's the funniest nickname you can recall from some previous player?
Well, I'll tell you this.
Keep it PG-13. Keep it PG-13.
Yeah, and it's not really funny, but our defense is named after a kid that used to play for me on C team years ago. Sadly, he passed away. We called him Batman. So our base defense is named after him. It's called Batman. We try to honor him all the time. He was a great kid. To this day, I wish he was still with us. But funny names, I don't know. But Batman will always stick with me for years.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you so much for taking time this afternoon. Good luck this Saturday.
Hey, thank you for football.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that was Coach Michael Brunner of the Ohatchee Indians talking about this game against Alexandria this weekend, which is a big game. 2 undefeated teams going head-to-head. But for the locker room, that's going to do it today. And when we come back tomorrow, we've got more local sports for you. Thursday night, volleyball ramps back up. We look towards the weekend. We're going to talk officiating with the head president of the wrestling officiating, Shannon King, to talk about the need for referees. We're going to talk Steve Smith's return to Piedmont again, and Jaden J. Money Lewis headed to the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game. Join us tomorrow on The Locker Room, presented by Tets Floors and Beyond.